Hello, welcome, people. My name is Anthony. Welcome to the match reaction of the game week 4, Tottenham versus Arsenal. And an injury riddled Arsenal went to the London Stadium and they picked 3 points. I can say that with my full chest because I'm an Arsenal fan. Yes, Arsenal picked the 3 points. And big up to Arteta, big up to the guys because really, before going into that game, from the events that happened to Martin Odegaard, the injury against Austria when he represented Norway, the
Yeah.
Arsenal fans' base had a meltdown, coupled with what happened a day before to Calafiori in Italy, playing against France. Ousmane Dembele going stupid and going straight into Calafiori and Calafiori ending up with an injury, coupled with the Rice suspension. So Arsenal was going into this London derby, not London derby, with three of their key players out. And really, guys, I just want to throw this guy to you guys. So let me start with the lady, Margaret. Is this a testament, or is this what would you call this win for Arteta? Because really, the focus is on Arteta, and for me, being the highest, second highest paid manager in the EPL, a lot of critics has come after him that this is his fifth year. He has only won FA Cup and he has to win something this year. And looking at what happened prior to this game, I was looking out for how he would adaptability with the squad that he has. And he was able to do that. So is this a testament win? Or does this win spur Arsenal into winning the title and contesting against Man City? Margaret.
Okay. First of all, thank you for having me. And secondly, His, please, I want to correct something. You don't have to say injury. I don't think Arsenal really have injury. Just said just three. The way you sounded as if the whole squad, like half of the squad, are injured. We're just talking about
Don't
just
let us
three
now fans
players.
come for you.
That
Don't let us now fans
is
come for you.
no.
There was
That
no, no,
shouldn't stop.
let me just call
Just
it out.
see, just
Odegaard,
three key players injured, and you're making it sound like half of the team or half of the squad
there,
are
there
injured.
was no
Hmm?
Zinchenko. There was no Zinchenko.
Well,
There was no
that's by the
Zinchenko.
way. That's by the way. In today's game, honestly, it was an intense one. It was actually 50-50. And Arsenal went into that match. Definitely, we all know that Arsenal will have an upper hand in this London derby. But we've seen Tottenham being kind of um, with the new Poco. Sorry, I think his name. Sorry, until now I have not been able to pronounce that his name clearly very well. Angie. Let me just go with Angie.
Anje
Angie.
Postacoglu. Anje
Sorry.
Postacoglu.
Let me just use the Angie. Since it took over at Tottenham, we have seen how Tottenham are doing very well and how competitive they have been, although they have not been competitive in for the league title or anything. But going to today's game, honestly, I would lie to you. I was scared at first. I was like, maybe Arsenal might lose. It's possible. Probably this is going to be Arsenal first lost this season. But fortunately, they proved me wrong. They went into the game and got that important 3 points. Important 3 points away at Tottenham. And then Arsenal has proven that they are going to be a hard nut to crack this season. And as usual, as what happened for last season and 2 seasons ago, it's still going to be Arsenal versus Man City in this Premier League game. And I just hope that this season, Arteta will prove us wrong and then win the league for Arsenal. Because honestly, I don't want City to do that again. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't want City to do that again.
Interesting. Very, very
Over to you,
interesting.
Damini.
To be fair,
Margaret, had a dig at your team, Manchester City, stylishly
yeah,
in a
yeah.
monologue. Yeah.
This Honestly, it's fine. It's okay. It's fine. You're at the top, so it's only natural that people would try to knock you off. The one thing I'll say about Arsenal is these are the games you need to win. These are the games that you must find a way to grind out to win, whether you like it or not, whether you have these injuries or not, things like that. When you said he's the second highest paid EPL manager in the league right now. There's a reason why they're giving you those big bucks, and that's because they believe you deliver. Okay, it's not just for making money as a business. Let's say Arsenal as a business making money. You also need to win those competitions. You need to win those trophies, and it's time for Arteta to step up. We've given him honestly. I've not seen anybody that can compete with Pep yet. Except Arteta this season. When people mentioned,
There's a Maresca for Chelsea. Yep.
When all those people, I was like, nah, these people they can't compete. And the one thing that Arsenal, I found very interesting today was the people that replaced the injured players. Those are people that have experience in a way. So Sterling has been in the league for a very long time, so he knows what all this is about. Jorginho, at some point, I don't know how he did it, was third best player in the world at some point. I honestly still don't know how he did it.
Yeah.
But this is somebody that has won the Premier League before. Havertz also as well. So the injuries, I agree. Yes, those were key players. Don't get me wrong, but it's in these scenarios where champions are made. It's in these scenarios where you begin to build character. And the one person, when it comes to character, that I would probably want him in my team is the person that scored today, and that's Gabriel. And that really, really was very good. In terms of who is winning the league, I'll wait for you to bring the Man City conversation. I don't want to jump the gun, but I still haven't seen anybody that's going to compete with us yet. I'm sorry. I don't mean to sound cocky or anything, but Foden, Rodri, they've played only 87 minutes in these first few games. We've not even giving people the full squad. You've seen a little bit of Savinho here and there. It is what it is, really. I don't see who's going to come near City this season.
Well, let's still focus on Arsenal.
You really think so? You really think so? See, don't say you've not seen who's going to come near City this season. Fine, yeah. City have done it 4 times in a row. And if Arsenal continue with the same momentum of last season and continue this way, and they keep playing beautiful football, getting amazing results, City would definitely fall along the way.
So the reason why
if City falls and then Arsenal picks up, see, the most important thing is getting those games, getting 3 points where you're supposed to have instead of that 1 point. Like what happened today. It was very intense. Mm-hmm. It was an intense game. We saw what happened. It was a 50-50. In a game like this, this is where who made it, I don't know how to put it, a champions. He's going to know who is actually serious. So look at yesterday's game against City, against
Brentford.
City. You saw what they played. It was more like against Brentford. It was more like City struggle. Yes, they ground out the result, but they struggled. And we're going to see more of that this season. City is not going to, they're not going to be the same City of last season. They are not going to be, because at this point, that motivation is not there.
This particular
the motivation is not there. They've won it all.
Margaret, so you see, these particular players, like I said, you've not seen Rodri, you've not seen Foden. Now, the only way Arsenal can actually step up and win the league is if they throw away their dreams of Champions League. Arteta is not going to throw away a trophy. The only way you can compete with City is to sacrifice a trophy. It's just that simple. It's basic math. And Arteta will not do it. He's too proud. Again, he's a Spaniard. It's how they are. So it's the same way where I don't see how those boys will keep up. Most of your average age is still very young. Those boys will still get injured. They will get to certain points in the Champions League where they will choke. it's just a thing. It's a thing of data. It's experience. Like I'm talking from what I see on the table. If anything should all of a sudden change, I agree. Maybe then Arsenal can play the game, but Arteta would want to try and win as many as he can, and he doesn't understand that you need to focus. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I quite understand. I quite understand your part, Damini, and the arguments has been Pep. It's now turned into a cliche. Pep factor. Pep factor is really really real, whereby there is no leverage, or you can't make any mistake if you to compete with Pep, and that is the standard Pep has has raised the bar, most especially in the EPL. The last EPL game, which Arsenal played at home against Brighton, dropping 2 points was very, very key. Was very, very. How am I going to put it? We'll come back to hunt them later on.
Yep.
I'm an Arsenal fan, so I can speak on behalf of Arsenal
Yep.
fans on this show. Dropping that 2 points would later come to affect down the line when it comes to May 2025. We saw that happen last season. The points dropped against Fulham at home. The points dropped against Aston Villa at home as well. But Man City, they have the credibility. They've done it
Yep.
over and over again, and which I'm alluding to Dominique's point, whereby the Arsenal boys, they've only done it twice, whereby they took City to the end. The first was 5 points. Now, last season, it reduced to 2 points. So can they do it? So what is left for them is just to go over the line. And focusing on today's game, I saw something that Arteta did, and I'm really, really happy, picking that 3 point. And I was so confident because I was on News Central earlier this morning on the sports show where I was interviewed. And I said I was so confident. The presenter Udoka was like, this guy, where is your confidence coming from with all the injury crisis? And I know Spurs will always be Spurs, however you want to put it. And I was quite disappointed in the way they played the game today because they didn't show intention. They were at home. They didn't really, really
Yeah.
trouble Arsenal. Yes, despite the opportunity they saw that they could have won, the Arsenal defense was solid. Now, Gabriel, talking about Gabriel Magalhaes, Saliba too was there today, but Gabriel Magalhaes was very, very important in today's victory. Do you guys see these guys going on? Last season, they virtually played all the 38 games. Saliba played all the 38 games. Magalhaes played like 35 or 34. Is this going to be a worry if talking about injury crisis? Is this going to be a worry? Should in case I'm not a prophet of doom here, but what if between Saliba and Gabriel gets injured or goes missing? What happens to the Arsenal project, Margaret? Because you are so confident that Arsenal can push City to the end, and you want Arsenal to go for it, but there's that little thing there that if anything goes wrong, it could affect the Arsenal team. So what's your take? Do you think Saliba, Gabriel's combination or partnership will last longer as it happened last season and can push Arsenal to winning the title?
Of course, definitely, barring any injury to either of them. So I definitely see Arsenal pushing till the end, like last season. I just believe that so many money. Okay, let's say someone like Arteta will not want another chance to slip out from him. If an opportunity presents itself again, just like last season, Arsenal would not want to let that slip off. I am telling you because they have learned their mistake from previous seasons. They've learned their mistake that the previous seasons, and they're definitely going to work on that. And one of the things which I know that one of the challenges that Arsenal, I know they're having right now, which has to do with I may not really say defense. I've not been really having defensive problem. Not much. Yeah, for the past 2 seasons, they've not really have any defensive problem. I may just say,
The problem
except
has been
some
getting a
minor
striker.
injury, huh? Except probably some
And so
injuries to key
the
players
fan base,
and fatigue. I definitely see Arsenal doing well. Doing well. Like the only thing I have been clamoring for is for an understudy for Bukayo Saka. Bukayo,
I think
Arsenal
that was
needs
why
to get
Sterling came
someone.
in. That was why
Yeah,
Sterling came in. Sterling is a backup to
yeah.
Saka.
Because he can play both sides. Yeah,
Sterling is a backup to Saka. Yes, we understand Sterling have Premier League experience, but the thing is, can Sterling still deliver? Like to me, I feel he has passed his prime. Sterling has passed his prime. That's what I feel. That Arsenal should have probably gotten a more maybe a younger winger that can support
Hmm.
Saka. In as much, see, I like Sterling, no doubt about that. But if Sterling he left City to Chelsea, and then he didn't stay how many seasons did he even stay at Chelsea? He didn't even stay for long.
I
Then
only say
right now he's at
two, two,
Arsenal.
two to three
So
seasons. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and if you look at those times, he has not really been having that game time, full time. You playing, having enough game time. So I just feel that Arsenal should have gotten a more younger winger to support Bukayo Saka, someone who Arsenal can count on to play a full 90 minutes if Bukayo Saka probably is injured or needs to rest. But that is not, you can't get that with Sterling right now. Not this present Sterling. You can't get that with him. So it's just if those players, to me, I just feel that if those players they're okay and no injury, the two centre back, they are there, Saliba and Gabriel. They will definitely form a formidable defense for Arsenal. I don't know. I just have that feeling that Arsenal will definitely do well, and they're going to be a force to reckon with this season.
Damini, still on this. Looking at the
yeah.
format of the Champions League, the Champions League now, looking at that new format, there's no pressure for you to win your first game, second game,
There's no
third game. It's
pressure,
like a league
man.
format. You don't need to come first. There's no
Yeah.
pressure. So is this a good time for Arteta to be able to manage the team so that he will spread the playing time all around? Because we saw that last season, Nelson, Nketiah, and also ESR with his injury problem didn't really have game time, and also Vieira, which a lot of people complain that why did Arsenal loan him back to Porto? Do you think Arteta right now would now prioritize? Because if I were to be in his shoes, really, my fear is the Saliba Gabriel combination in the EPL. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want anything to affect it because if
Yeah.
anything affects it, it's doomed for Arsenal. We saw that 2 seasons ago where Saliba got injured and our season capitulated.
Yeah.
Do you think it's an opportunity now for Arteta to like, okay, it's the Champions League. I don't need to start both. I can rest Saliba or Gabriel, form, make a lot of changes so that these guys, you can rest them well and they'll be fit and ready for the EPL.
I think, when it comes to coaches have their style, right? Every coach has his own style. I'll give you an example. So Conte has that style where he played 16 to 17 players for almost 2 years in Chelsea until those players began to have injury problems. Um, Klopp as well was known to have his favorite 11 at a particular point in time. Managers these days they don't really do a lot of switching players, resting players, all of that. I'm not sure if it was last season or 2 seasons ago where Saka played every single minute in the Premier League. So when you look at these things, why all of a sudden do we believe that the man management will start now or the resting of players will start now? And that still goes back to my conversation where you would have to learn how to either sacrifice a competition or behind the scenes you are doing something with your players that make you always get the best out of them. So I'll give you an example. One of the reasons why Pep only has one Champions League with Manchester City is because he's always tinkering with the team. he's always tinkering with the team from front, back, keeper. You can change the keeper. He can change the midfield. He can make all sorts of changes. Those are not the kind of things that
Depth in
we're
squad.
used to seeing. Exactly. We're not used to seeing
Mm.
these things with Arteta. We're not used to seeing these things with almost any manager. I think that's the difference where this Arnie guy in Liverpool, he's not afraid of
Slot.
benching a Trent. You know, as big as Trent is, he's not afraid of, you know what, we know you're a club hero or you're an upcoming rising legend in club. Go and sit down on the bench. 6 minutes is enough. Now, is Arteta going to do that? Time will tell. I'm not sure. The good thing is, with people like Sterling, you kind of have some form of experience. You kind of have some people where when they get on the pitch, they might be able to do those dirty things around the pitch. Now, going back to what you're saying with Gabriel and Saliba, it's one of those things where you have to focus on how you bring Califuori into the game, how you bring Kiwior into the game, because whether we like it or not, it's the Champions League. This is a competition that is almost as big as the EPL. So all of a sudden, Arteta learning how to sacrifice players or bench players, and the Champions League is so unique. It's one of those competitions where I tell people that no matter how skilled your team is, no matter how great your team is, it's purely a thing of luck. Because giants, there are real giant killers in the Champions League. You can go to somewhere in Switzerland and you have Basel that would humble a City on a very chilling night. And there's nothing City can do.
Yeah.
They play beautiful football, but the stars just didn't align that day. And that's why you don't see a lot of managers like Pep. Another person is Ancelotti. Ancelotti doesn't care. Ancelotti can play Valverde at center back. Is that something Arteta can do? No, he can't do it. And it just goes to show what happens behind the scenes when they are in the training ground. What happens behind the scenes where, you know what, you guys are professional players, do what you need to do. And then I'll make a few changes here and there. So I'm not sure if Arteta can manage people. And because of that, I'm also worried with you about those two at the back. Because out of the two of them, Gabriel, I believe, is the more injury-prone one. And he's the older one, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's older by like maybe 2 or 3 years. So in that sense, do you want to put Ben White back into centre back? Do you want to push him back and begin to test him in that role, let him become comfortable? Or do you want to bring in Timber? When you brought Timber, the good thing is Timber can play centre back and right back. He's like Koundé in Barcelona. So the good thing is you have those kind of players
Play left
that
back today.
you see, so they are comfortable with the ball. So far they are comfortable with the ball, that's good. And I think that's one thing Arteta has really learned from Pep, by building your game from the defense. So let's see, but I'm not seeing any man management happening in the last 2 years that all of a sudden is going to start changing now. So let's see.
Please,
It's going to
quick one. Please, quick one. I think while Damini was talking, about this whole man management thing, and then the whole Champions League, how is Arsenal going to like handle the whole thing? But you know what? This will be the first time that all these managers will actually experience the new Champions League formation. So now I'm beginning to reason it's definitely going to disrupt the team, not just Arsenal, but including City, including Liverpool, including a lot of things that are a lot of teams that are going into this Champions League. So we shouldn't look at it's going to be just Arsenal alone. But I think the only thing with like you said, Arteta probably don't actually know how to rotate these players. That is where is going to have a lot of problem. I just think apart from Saka, that he can play Saka at left back, I don't think there's any other Arsenal player that can say, okay, you know what, you change today, you're not playing in the midfield, go to the back. No one. We only know Saka is the only player that we know, okay, you need a left back, you can get him. You can play at left back, but every other players, they are not. So this Champions League is going to be a period, probably in the first 4 games. Allow maybe just rest, rotate
Did you mean
Saliba
to say
and
right
Gabriel.
wing because Saka plays from the right? Saka plays from the right. Did you
Sorry,
mean to say right on the right wing, or
sorry.
no? You
I
said
mean,
Saka to play left back. So I need
either right. Sorry, either as a right back, he plays in defense sometimes. Either in right back or so at the right wings. I
no.
don't get it, but I know that he do
Saka
plays
plays on
either
the
right
no.
wing.
No, Saka plays on the right. Saka plays on the right. He's a right winger. You know, cuts in with his
Yeah,
left
right
into.
winger.
But
He plays
he
there
started.
also
He
as a
started as
right.
a left. He started as
He
a
started as a left
left
back
back,
like
and when
three, 4
Arteta
years
came, Arteta
ago.
worked on him and took a winger,
But he has
and
played,
you know
yes.
now.
That's what I said. He is the only
Mm,
player that I know can play at either at that left. Can say, okay, we need a left fullback. Go there and play for us.
okay,
You
okay,
can play. But
I
aside
get your
that,
logic. I get your logic. I get your logic. Yeah, because it did same. It did same in the Three Lions in the Euros when they were having issues with injuries, and I think in the quarterfinal where Saka had to, jeopardize as a left back. Yeah, so I think I get your logic, Margaret. So Saka is the only one that you can see play as a right wing, and also come and play as a left back. But Arteta, the way he signs his players, there is one particular feature he has in signing players whereby that player must be able to play a dual role. Like today, we saw Trossard playing as a 10 because Odegaard wasn't fit to play today's game.
Yeah.
Yes, Odegaard was injured. Like I mentioned earlier, also during Timber played as a left back today, so he was able to deputize. And I understand what you're trying to say, Margaret. Because of the new Champions League format, you would have to, the team formation, the team selecting players any manager would have to be able to, play around. You can't say you want to play with a particular set of player in the Champions League due to this new format and also in the Premiership. And that's where my fear comes in. And that's what Damene is saying, that Arteta is not the type that, knows how to, alternate players. I hope this season he would learn, because if by Wednesday, and I see Wednesday when Arsenal will be playing Atlanta in the Champions League, traveling over to Italy, and I still see Saliba, Gabriel, then it's a problem for me. It is a problem for me because this weekend, Man City is coming, and definitely Pep would alterate his team, whoever is playing in the Champions League. So it's going to be a problem for me. But I don't want this to take out the shine away from today's game, because Arteta picking up 3 points at the London Stadium with a depleted squad is a very, very key one, and is a very, very, very good one. One more area I want to touch, just a minute each from you both. As this issue of Raya Ramsdale hasn't been sorted out, Arteta made that bold move last season in benching Ramsdale and getting Raya. And we saw what Raya did today, picking up those balls, those crosses, dominating the 6-yard box. Margaret, just a minute. Is this decision, the decision made by Arteta, has it been proven that he was right with that decision, picking Raya over Ramsdale?
yeah, honestly, today I think Raya was the difference between it was the difference. Probably if not for him, Arsenal could have been beaten. We saw what Kulusevski did. He has like how many goals? He should have scored like Arsenal, like how many goals, but he has really proven us wrong. I know a lot of us were like, why do you have to let Ramsdale go? Why do you have to let Ramsdale go? Okay, why not use Ramsdale? Okay, it should be the number one. Then Raya should be backup keeper. And like, okay, it's going to be a loan. He will go back, and then Ramsdale will regain his position. But today we've seen that, not just today, in previous games, we've seen what Raya has
Beginning of the
done, and
season.
it has really
Yep.
proven that Arteta knows what he is doing when it comes to what he wants. Sometimes we criticize managers as if they don't know what they are doing. They are being paid to do a job, and definitely they will bring in a kind of player that they fit in for them, fit in to do what they want to do. Because if they go ahead to bring it, they study the game, they've seen what's going on, and then they're like, no, the keeper, this player is not fit, cannot fit into my team. Let's change. Let me bring in someone else. And because of we allow sentiment to come into the game. As fans, as supporters, we bring in
Yeah,
sentiment. But
yeah,
like,
agreed.
no,
Agreed.
this one should have been sentiment. So if we leave sentiment aside and then look at things the way it is, then we'll understand why most of these managers are doing what they are doing. I think today it has really paid off. Raya is doing extremely well with Arsenal. We've seen a lot of goals
Mm.
that Amdel should have considered, but he stick to it. He makes sure Arsenal don't let in too much goal. I think Arteta did well in that particular aspect.
Damini, before you come in, today's game, if it was Ramsdale that was in goal, jeez. You see those crosses Spurs were bringing in, Ramsdale would have made an howler. With no disrespect to him. And I know I've had this back and forth with some fans that criticize whatever Arteta does. But for me, I
Hey,
just feel my own opinion, seeing Ramsdale, seeing Raya today and what he has done in the last 4 games, that decision is a splendid one. It's your take.
I know you are saying that one, so I will not say what I want to say, but I'll still say it. I think to be fair, it's like is that argument with and these people they are on a different level, but I'm just going to use it. Is that argument between Allison and Edison where who is better? But one is very good with playing balls with his legs, he's good with passing, another one is good with reflexes and instinct, right? To they are both good keepers. I can't pit one against the other. There are certain games where I look at Raya and I'm like, you could have done better. There are certain games I look at Ramsdale and I say the same thing. So it's working for Arteta. If that's the question you asked, and that's the answer. Who is better? They are both the same thing, in my own opinion. There's no one that is better than the other.
You're trying
I
to take the
also think
piss. You're trying to take the
Ramsdale
piss, Damini.
No, I
Ramsdale,
see.
Ramsdale,
See,
Ramsdale put himself. Margaret, let me finish.
Wait, Margaret,
Ramsdale
hold
put
on.
himself
Hold on.
in
Let
a
Damini land, please.
Ramsdale put himself in a tight spot, and that's the thing about these English chaps. They talk too much. If he just kept his mouth shut, he'll probably still be employed. You can't come out and say, "Oh, I lose concentration during games." Everybody does, right? He's not. He's so. But I've also seen Raya make some very, very funny mistakes. Same way I've seen Allison make funny mistakes. I've seen Edison make mistakes. So no, I don't know. I think when it comes to keepers, they're just there. There's Onana. Onana saved the penalty, and nobody's
Over
talking
the
about
weekend.
it. You get what I'm saying? And on his day,
Yeah.
Onana is a very good keeper. On his day, like I remember when he was in Inter Milan, he benched Hanadovic or something like that. Do you know what it means? Hanadovic was a legend already. Oh. He went there and benched him. Onana in Ajax wasn't a joke. He was a baller. So when it comes to keepers, I don't know. There are very few that are top tier. Raya, Ramsdale, solid 7/10, two of them.
Man, for me, that decision of picking Raya, seriously, it still comes to be a top-notch decision because I'm just
I
trying to
agree, Sha, it's working.
I,
So
I'm just trying to picture. I'm just trying to put it in the picture. If it was Ramsdale that was in goal today, geez, mistake upon mistake. But for me, it doesn't take anything away from Ramsdale. He's a good
yeah,
goalkeeper. But I just feel
yeah,
like you said, I mean, he fitting into Arteta's philosophy. I think Raya fits better.
yeah.
Now let's switch to Manchester United. All the games that happened yesterday, 8 games happened yesterday. Only 2 games happened today, which was Tottenham, Arsenal, and Wolves, Newcastle. Newcastle winning away, and Newcastle too. Really, they're doing wonders. They've not lost any game this season. They've won 3
Yeah.
and drawn 1,
they
which puts
will
them
lose.
12
They
points, the
will
same
lose. The
points with
champions, they
Arsenal.
will lose.
Everybody will come to lose. Everybody will take the L one way or the other. Going unbeaten in times like this is very, very difficult. Going unbeaten is very, very difficult.
I don't think
But now,
anybody
a
can
good
do
one for
it
Manchester United.
anymore.
Let's just segue. Yeah, let's segue to Manchester United so that we can round off today's match reaction. I was expecting the Arsenal fans to come on. Being the host, there's a level at which I can analyze up to so that I don't look biased. But I was expecting Daniel and I was expecting Okwe, but unfortunately they couldn't join us today. But let's segue to Manchester United. Margaret, Manchester United winning yesterday 3-0. Didn't start well. Southampton dominated, had a penalty. Like Damini said, Onana saved a penalty. And nobody has said anything. Quite strange. But if they had made a blunder, Onana will be trending. And Manchester United, were able to, steady the ship, utilize the chances, and that was it. And that's what the EPL is about. But what's your take? Do you think it is respite time for ETH? Because if anything has gone south of that result yesterday, it could have been doom and gloom. Looking at what Ronaldo did prior, the post he made on social media prior to that game. What's your take, Margaret? Is Margaret still with us?
United never trend when it comes to something good, to good thing. They only trend in bad. So if Onana had made a blunder, definitely it will be trending. And I'm very sure that that will be the first thing you're going to talk about. We're not even going to talk about that. We're going to bring up a Manchester United topic first.
Exactly.
Well, honestly, to me, I just feel it was just should I say I wasn't carried away. You know why? Because we're thinking about the next game while this one is playing. You're thinking about the next one already. What if the next game they don't play like this? What if the next game they get defeated? What if the next game they concede not just one goal but 4 goals?
So that's the state of Manchester United fans right now. You're now thinking of the next game. Would they do the same? Would they replicate?
Honestly, you can't just sit down like, oh, we won this one. What will not happen in the next game? So sometimes you can't just sit down and analyze, oh, United did well. Okay, they played this game. They come in. The manager made a good substitution. Oh, okay, we saw Rashford. Rashford finally got the first goal this season. And what will not happen the next game? What will happen the next 2-3 games? Are we going to see this result? No, we're not going to see this result. We just hope to see good results, but unfortunately, it may not happen that way. So I just feel that United, fine, they got the 3-point, fantastic. Onana saved the penalty, fantastic. Rashford scored a goal, finally got his first goal this season, fantastic. And then Delete got his first goal, and that is one positive thing I am getting from that team. I get to see new signings scoring a goal. But that aside, I think to me, can we talk about Liverpool? Liverpool, please, because United, ginger
we'll get to Liverpool. We'll get Liverpool because let's just talk about Manchester United. They won. So that's the positive about Manchester United. I don't want to.
They won. They got 3 points.
They won 3 points, and that was good, perfect. And Damini, Onana saving that penalty, that was the turning point of that game because really Southampton were on the ascendant. They took the game to Manchester United, dominated Manchester United, and if that penalty had gone in, possibly that could have turned, the result could have turned another way. But I think Manchester United, credit needs to go to them because they took that as an impetus and saw the opportunity. 2 goals within 6 minutes. And Rashford scoring. My Rashford watch is not activated today because he scored, so I'm going to praise him.
So to be honest, that game wasn't looking good. It was looking like it was going to be a very tough game for Manchester. I knew that they would win, but they would probably win like maybe 1-0 or 2-1. I expected it to be very tight. And that Onana save was just that surge that they needed. Now, I don't have anything against ETH.
Yep.
Honestly, I don't have anything against him. But I feel that yesterday's game, it was just the players. I don't think there was any tactics involved in what I saw. It was just players putting their force and energy into the game. Like if you see that Rashford's goal, it was actually I think it was a looping ball. It was not as if he tried to shoot the first one, and then it was a ricochet, and then even when he shot it, he couldn't see. He just let it go. The league's goal, same thing. I think it was Bruno. Bruno just put the ball inside the box. There was nobody there. He just said, you know what, whatever happens, happens. And the lead was the only person that jumped up, right? That's the one key thing I took. I'm not going to talk about Garnacho because I am very, very biased with Garnacho. So I want to talk about it. Garnacho cannot do anything wrong in my eye. So let me just leave him alone. The problem, and I think that's where Manchester United fans are struggling because they know it's not their coach's tactics that got them that win. So it's one of those things where do you want to congratulate the team and say, oh, good game? Or do you just want to wait and see what happens in the next game and now know the real state of things? That's where the problem is. And I don't know. And again, I don't know. Is it that the English media they know how to make coaches say nonsense? I don't know because that comment, there's some things you don't need to say. Just keep quiet. Just keep it moving. Like I don't know, because even the way he spoke about this whole Ronaldo issue, he didn't need to. And these are the kind of things where it feeds into the players one way or the other. One way or the other,
Feeds
it
into
feeds
the
into the
team. Yeah.
player. It feeds into the player, feeds into the team. But yeah, kudos to them. I was really impressed. I'm also biased with Onana. I feel like Onana is one of those people that make football interesting to watch in Manchester United. So the fact that he got that penalty after his showboating for the past few penalties that he was doing before during preseason and against Haaland, that whole momentum, he just lifted their spirits. One day we'll talk about Bruno, but let that day not be today. But one day we should talk about Bruno. I'll leave Bruno. Bruno is my problem in that United team, but I'll leave him for now.
Yeah, another day to discuss that.
The
But for
United
me,
team
3 points is. No, Margaret,
yeah,
have
three
your say
points.
before I round up.
Yes. Okay. 3 points is important, like you said, for United. But where I am always having problem with United is games they are supposed to win. Games are supposed to look easy for them. They made it look so difficult.
Yep.
Made it look as if you're playing a Real Madrid, or you're playing a derby, or you're playing a tough team. Southampton shouldn't have been a problem for United from the beginning, but they made it look as if these guys are so strong. These guys are. I think we were talking about a team that just came from the championship. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they are a bad side. No, even good side do relegate, but sometimes United make things difficult for them. Teams they are supposed to beat, they make it so difficult for themselves. They made it look as if it's a tough one. I just think they just need to sit up. And for ETH, I feel he just need to shut up at the time. I am getting mad at him. At the point I was supporting him, I was giving him my backing, but the way he talks this period is as if it's all about, yes, you win a trophy, but don't use that trophy to cover up your bad display, your bad season. Just like just like Ole said.
I feel for me, looking at that game week 4, Southampton versus Manchester United, if you have asked them at the beginning of before the kickoff, what do you want? I'm sure everybody will say, all the Manchester United players, even ETH will say he wants 3 points. And at the end, did he get the 3 points? That is
got the
what matters. 3
3 points.
points is
Yeah.
key. Yeah, it's key, really. And I know there are nuances that still need to be looked at in terms of what is happening in Manchester United, the managerial style, ETH, not being able to control his gab whenever he talks during press conferences. There are some things you should say, there are some things you shouldn't attend to. All that will thin out. But I'm sure the current worry of Manchester United fans is, which I which I support Margaret, or I try to understand with Margaret. Like for Arsenal, where Arsenal's project is currently is the next game against Man City. We know what we're going to do. We know what we
You know
know
what to
what to
expect. You know
expect.
what you're going to
Manchester
see.
City, Manchester City as well. Yes, Manchester City fans, they know what to expect in the next match. They're not worried. But Manchester United fans, I can understand. They're worried. They don't know what. They don't know which Rashford. My Rashford watch is back. Which Rashford are we going to see next week? Which Onana are we going to see next week? Onana saved the penalty this weekend. Hope it's not going to cost one howler next week. So that's the problem. I understand. But it's still the beginning of the
Honestly,
season.
serious.
It's still the beginning of the season. And I know as things turn out, by December, ETH should know his fate. Whether it's still going to stay or whether anything is going to come out of this season for me.
December.
But I feel there's still hope there. Four
Okay.
games into the season. Yeah. 4 games into the season. It's too early to judge, really. Even teams that start well at times don't finish well. But now let's talk about Man City. Quite a scary one for Man City yesterday. Brentford at the Etihad Stadium, as a 10 minutes, could have been 3-0 up
Yep.
if they took their chances. And that's the thin line that happens in football. You see, yesterday, Man City dug deep. They got back 1-1. They pegged Brentford 1-1. And the chance to Haaland showed itself, and he took it 2-1, buried it, and that's it. That's the end. Man City got 3 points. But what to
Yep.
take? Damini, you've been a Manchester City fan. I think we can round up on today's episode on this. You being a Man City fan, are you worried? Margaret said something at the beginning of this episode that she doesn't want Man City to win that league, and with the way they are playing,
I don't want.
they might not be
I don't
able
want.
to win that league. We all know Man City. We all know Pep. They don't start well, but when it gets to that crunch time, once Pep switches the lights, once he switches, once he just switches that, once he flips that switch, we know what it is. It's goodbye to other people. But 4 wins out of 4. This didn't happen last season. Should we be worried about Man City? 4 wins out of 4.
So the thing with Pep, and I think I've said it I've said it earlier in this episode, the guy is a bit of a psycho. Because when you look at our defense yesterday, I'm thinking, okay, we're at home, so I understand why you're making these sort of changes. This boy has probably not paid in a while. Rico Lewis was left. Akanji and Stone, I've not seen that pairing in a very long time. I've not seen that pairing since last season. And I'm wondering, okay, so what's going on here in this middle? And that goes back to what you're talking about with Gabriel and Saliba. Pep doesn't mind taking these chances with these kind of teams. And worst case scenario, everybody has 45 minutes. Within those 45 minutes, if Brentford takes their chances, they go 3-0 up. Immediately, the game is put to bed. But the annoying thing about football is those chances that you don't take, there is a Haaland down the road that is going to bury it. It's almost like
Equalizer.
Exactly. It's like, and then you have things that. So going back to what you said with that Pep effect, Edison last season was supposed to leave City. That whole final substitution where he was like, oh, his eyes are still fine, and then he went to the bench, and 2 seconds later, the whole eyes were swollen. During the summer break, there were conversations that he was going to Saudi. And then you see the same Edison pulling an assist with Haaland. The madness of Pep is why I'm so confident that this league is Man City's league to lose. Let me put it that way, right? And everybody will agree to that. It's actually Man City's league to lose. And it's because of how we are able to stretch these players. The one thing that Margaret mentioned earlier, which is true, is you can't see this sort of motivation from these players. They're not motivated as they used to be. The good thing is, no matter what motivation they are feeling, Pep has somebody like Bernardo Silva that is going to come from the bench happily and motivate the entire squad. He has somebody like, Haaland that has his own personal ambition. Whatever happens, whatever you guys are thinking of. And that's why you see someone like Grealish Grealish doesn't see a lot of starts because the players themselves, they have their own personal ambition. Haaland is on a rampage to become probably the next Ronaldo, or even bigger than Ronaldo. That's something that he doesn't really care whatever you say.
In terms of scoring goals.
Exactly. So he's out. His conversion rate is getting better. I thought his conversion rate was good, but now I'm seeing that the boy has 9 goals in 4 matches. What's going on here? And it's the same thing where Pep is still going to play Haaland for 60 minutes, 45 minutes. Not a lot of coaches can take that risk, but Pep can. And it's because of these little things. That's what will keep everybody motivated, keep everybody on their toes, that we're going to end up with the season. We're going to end up champions at the end of the season.
And it's because the avenue is there to set a record, winning it 5 straight.
That's it. That's it. Exactly.
I don't know any other team that has done it before, winning the EPL 5 on a 5 straight bounce, like winning it and like nothing is happening. And for me, I feel the other teams have a lot of work to do. I know, like I mentioned
Arsenal
earlier,
is the only team that can compete. Let's call it spade a spade. Arsenal is the only team that can.
Yes,
definitely. We know Arsenal is the only team. I can't say about Liverpool, but I think we shouldn't write off Newcastle yet. Look at the way they're coming. They're coming with fire. They're coming with with that intensity. They are coming with, they have the way Newcastle are coming in. I think they're going to provide a very healthy competition to City.
We had that trade. We had that vibe 2 seasons ago or 3 seasons
so
ago.
last season, what happened with Newcastle last season was simply the one person that they expected to do a lot of the grunt work was caught gambling. I feel a lot of people don't know how good Tonali is, and hopefully we'll see that this season. Tonali was just the missing link. So they had Tonali, Gumares, and I can't remember who was it. Longstaff. They had a 3-man midfield that was just going to make
the other Brazilian. The other Brazilian, what's his name?
That Brazilian, what was his name?
Is exactly true, because Newcastle can do it. My problem is those players, they don't have that team chemistry yet. See, Arsenal is the only. If Liverpool bought a defensive midfielder, so if Caicedo or even Lavia was in Liverpool, I would not be saying this confidently. I wouldn't. But Liverpool have certain things that are missing. That one injury will just spoil the whole thing, and that's what Klopp. That's what wounded Klopp. All his tenure in Liverpool, it was just those small niggling injuries. Arteta is the only person that has a balanced squad to a certain level that can push it, but he has to sacrifice the competition. He has to. Will he? I don't think so. So that's why I'm still a bit confident.
I just feel the pressure being put on.
There's also something here. Sorry, there is something also. I this season, if at all City go on to win the EPL, do you know who is going to make that difference this season? This season is going to be Haaland. Fine, I'm not saying Haaland has not made any difference since he came in his first season, his second season. He had made a difference, but this season, I think the only difference is going to be, if anyone is going to give City the title again, it's going to be Haaland. We're not going to see KDB. KDB won't get the KDB of previous seasons anymore this season. We're going to get a half-baked KDB. Same with other squad. Rodri, fine, but I don't know why I am just having that feeling that Rodri may not be the Rodri of last season. We're still going to get some good football from him, but the difference this season is going to be Haaland. We've seen in previous games, he sneak in those winning goals, he sneak in those goals, like what happened yesterday.
And the one that happened before, the game against West Ham. Those chances, those chances just came out of nowhere, and boom,
out of nowhere, and it takes them.
So I feel so here. Just to conclude, here now to connect the dots. That is why the Arsenal fans have been clamoring for a striker.
Exactly. Go for this boy. Go for this boy. Go
That's why
for
they've
this
been
boy.
clamoring. What's his name? The Swedish
Victor
guy. That's why,
Gyökeres or something like that.
Victor Gokores. That's why
Uh-huh.
Arsenal have been clamoring for a striker. We saw what happened against Brighton, where Arsenal went one man down, and Brighton came back into the game 1-1. Despite Arsenal being one man down, Arsenal had a chance
But they could
towards
not
the
get it.
late end of the game. Havertz one-on-one with the Brighton goalkeeper.
Yep.
Havertz missed the chance. So now
He's
imagine
also
if it was Haaland. If it was Haaland that was in that position, Haaland would have buried it.
also
So that is
last
the
season
margin.
against Bayern
That is
Munich.
the margin. Yeah, that is
Last
the
season against
margin.
Bayern Munich again in the Champions League. All you needed was a striker. That's all you needed in that game. That's all Arsenal
Well,
needed, just a striker.
maybe the January transfer window they'll bring in a striker. Osimhen will be
Hopefully,
available by then.
because Osimhen is still
Hopefully.
there. But either, I don't know. I don't know if Arteta has a style of. I think Arteta is one of those players, coaches, and he probably learned it from Pep. There's a particular character that they look for. I don't want to say, I don't want to use the word subservient or like servitude. I don't want to use that word, but the player cannot be bigger than the manager. If the manager should say jump, the player should be willing to jump. Because see Alvarez, I don't know why Pep let go of Alvarez.
Honestly,
The boy just
honestly.
wanted to play, and he came to the media and opened his mouth. And in less than 72 hours, Pep had him gone. And it's the
I
same
think
with Cole
that was the same thing that happened between that's the same thing that happened for Ramsdale. That was where I wanted to come in.
Yeah.
What actually kills Ramsdale's career was how
Mouth.
because you talk. Come on, you have a problem going on. It's not something you need to come out and say it. Work on it. Work
Yeah.
on it. You say you lack concentration. Work on it. Speak to your manager. It's not something you bring out to the press. It means that you're not ready to learn. You're not ready to.
Yep.
It's going to affect you in your career.
Exactly.
It cost
The
himself,
standard.
so it's not like Arteta saw someone who feel, oh, this is going to concentrate. You need someone who concentrate. You need someone who stay out of the media. So no manager likes someone who go out to talk anyhow on the media. No,
Yeah.
because it's going to bring in that. It's going to bring in that kind of It's going to bring in some kind of disruption to the team. No manager likes that. We have to concentrate. You are a keeper for crying out loud. So anything that makes you lose concentration, you
Lose
concede so
concentration. Yeah.
many goals. So it doesn't
The
help.
standard the standard Arteta has raised. I mean, the standard Pep has raised. Other managers would really, really, really have to follow that standard. It's been nice doing this with you guys.
Same here.
I don't know how we're gonna. Yeah, there's a way we'll form the title of this video because it's just been the chat all through, touching Arsenal, touching Manchester United, touching Man
Yep.
City, and
We
also
didn't talk about
touching.
Liverpool. So Margaret,
Yeah.
next week we talk about Liverpool.
Yeah. Because of time.
Yeah,
And Chelsea.
you know what? It was good to see Liverpool in the forest. Come on, all the three goals they scored against United, we got those goals back, and they were in the forest.
I
From
like
Anfield,
that.
they took them to the forest. I love that.
Liverpool in the
I love what
forest.
happened. God,
See,
man.
I know
But mind
Margaret
you,
has been itching. I know Margaret has been itching on how to nick one on Liverpool, but it is what it is. We'll talk about Liverpool. We'll look for a day to talk about Liverpool.
No
But
worries.
I think Slot got the perfect welcome into the EPL. Getting that L at Anfield. He got a proper welcome. Yeah, he got a proper welcome. It's nice having this chat, this match reaction episode with you guys. Thank you, Damini. Thank you, Margaret. Please, we're trying to build this channel. If you're watching this video, please subscribe on our YouTube channel and also press the notification button. Help us to grow these to 1,000 subscribers. We are on 100 and something right now. We just started, so please help show some love and build this channel. Help us to build this channel together, and also follow on us on our social media on our other social media platform, Instagram, FootyWit, at FootyWit, and also on Twitter. Our EPL Fantasy Premier League is still on. The registration is still on. Game week 7, right? Or game week 5 is when we're stopping the registration, Damini, right? Game week 5. So still one more week to go. Look on our Instagram, account. You can see the information there and follow the instructions to register, and we'll take it up from there. Thank you, guys. It's been nice doing this. Hope to see you next week. Have a nice weekend. Have a nice week.
All right, same here.
Have a nice week ahead. Have a nice week ahead.
Yeah, very good one. Very good one, please. Good